HHDG. Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media Podcast. Big shout out to our hip hop discussion group, HHDG, out on Facebook. Shout out to our HHDG Media crew that makes it happen every week, every month, year after year. Rock Vader KB, T. Smith, the Mayor, Skelly Top, and myself, Wicked. As always, you can check out our website, as you can see on the bottom, hhdgmedia.com. Check out the latest music, events, as well as our merch. For tonight, we have, coming out of Florida, a very lyrically sharp MC who's got some other abilities that we'll definitely talk about. That I would say he's honed those skills quite well in the past few years. But as far as his MCing, I don't think many can, really reach that caliber that he's at right now and continues to push at. He has rhymed on many other artists' albums as well as producers. I mean, one of them is pretty much family, Czarism, and I Make Mad Beats. That's just to name two of them right there. He hangs with talented MCs. Some probably he's well above their skills. I can name a few of them that he's worked with. Nico Is, Planet Asia, Wordsworth. Man, I could keep going, but we definitely going to talk about, some of these people that he's definitely worked with. And with his ability to be on point with his pen game, it shows in each project that he's dropped. He's not here to be goofing around like some of these artists are out here just to, continue to be pushing out music. His music has content. And it's the type of music that, you definitely want to rewind and listen to again. He's about to drop another dope album. He just dropped one earlier this month with Dele Digger. And, the two of them have created quite a dope relationship with the music that they put out together. I would like to introduce, before I talk a little too much about him, before he gets on, MidaZ, the Beast, coming out of Ozone.
Yeah. What up? What's good?
How you doing, man?
Man, everything's lovely, man. I can't complain. Just out here representing.
Definitely. First off, I gotta give you a shout out and thank you for still being there with what you've gone through in the past few years.
Yeah, that's love. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of those things, bro. Everybody got shit to go through, so it's just one of them things.
Definitely. Now, from all the years that I've listened to you, I used to think that Czarism was your brother until we interviewed him. He was like, he's not my blood brother, but that's my brother.
That's my brother, though. That's my brother, though. Yeah. Czarism and I Make Mad Beats, man. Those are they are brothers, and they're my big brother. You know what I mean? Like, when I first met, I met Czar first, and I was probably 15 or 16, and I was I thought I was the nicest nigga on earth as a 15-year-old rapper. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. But the whole deal with that was I was the nicest nigga in school, and as far as I knew, there wasn't nobody else that rapped in town. So like, my logic was, if I'm the nicest nigga in school, I'm the nicest nigga. Like, this is the way it goes. And my man was like, yo, there's this new show that's starting up, this open mic, you should go. And I'm like, these niggas don't want none of me, nigga. What? Let's go. So I go out there and it's college kids. I ain't prepared for none of this shit. Like I ain't never ran into no college kids and grown men rapping and shit. Like I wasn't ready. So I remember I pulled up and I was rhyming and I used to freestyle like cannabis and shit. Like my shit was intellectual, metaphorical, lyrical. I was doing all that shit. And this kid was battling me in the cipher and he was just telling jokes. He was just like I was like intellectual, He was just like, yo, your mother's fat. I was like, what? And people was laughing. I was like, oh, I'm getting beat. Like I wasn't prepared for this. And round after round of him and me going back and forth, I'm just dying. And Czar stepped up and was like, hey, yo, man, give me the mic. You know, it was almost like give me the mic, little man. He might have said little man, but he was like, yo, give me the mic, yo. And then he started battling him, and I just faded into the background and shit. So I was like, yo, salute on that. Like, you kind of saved my life and shit. And he was like, yo, it's all good. And then I make Mad Beats that same night after the event. He rolled up and was like, yo, we should he was like, yo, I like the way you rap and shit. He was like, we should work. And I'm like, all right. And here's the wildest thing, bro. I had never met a producer before I met. He was the first producer I ever met. Was I Make Mad Beats. I had never even met anybody who made beats, bro. When I first met I Make Mad Beats, I didn't even understand like what a sample was, how it worked. I was like, yo, so like people be singing on songs? Like, is that the way this works? Like they got Aretha Franklin to come sing on the song? You know, like I was real naive. So, our thing started from way back then. And Zara's a little bit older than Nemo, a couple years older than Nemo, than I Make Mad Beats. So me and him became real close because we was both little brothers to Zara. You know, like we was both just trying to be down with Zara. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to be down with him. He was trying to be down with Zara. And we was just, that was the way it flexed out. But man, we as close, I mean, them two as brothers, but we as close as brothers, all three of us. And that's what that is. I mean, our text chat is brothers. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. So shout out my brothers. I Make Mad Beats and Zaras, and that's my family.
That's dope. Dope story right there. So after you fell back, after seeing him perform like that, how'd you go home that night?
Excited because I met a producer. Like I was like, oh shit, like somebody want me to come to the studio? Like I didn't know nothing about none of that shit. Like there was no like going to the studio. There was no, what I mean? It was just freestyling. It was open mics. It was, So like I went home excited, like, yo, telling my man's like, yo, met a producer. Like we gonna get it in. You know what I mean? And like, go figure. Go figure that the producer and other producer that I met that night is like two of the illest niggas ever. But yeah, like, I was inspired. I was excited.
That's dope. Now, how is the scene out there in Orlando now compared to back then?
Well, now it's a lot of I'll keep it. I don't know what it's like now. You know what I mean? I have no clue. Like I'm not really in it like that. Like I used to be back then. I still kick it and run around with the same niggas I was running around with back then, more or less. So, I know that now there's a lot of new young kids out and, there's new open mics and new things like that and everything. But, back then it was, I think one of the big differences is back then it was a war zone. Like it was, I mean, we had this event, that same open mic, it was every Monday night. And it was a war zone, man. There was a lot of people running through that open mic because it was an open mic and it was a battle. They did a freestyle battle every Monday, and it was, I mean, there was luminaries out there of rapping. You know what I mean? So like, Johnny Storm of Grind Time fame and Madness of both of those guys became well-known battle rappers, and Matt Ills, and just there was a lot of critical and just tons of guys who was real mic surgeons. You know what I'm saying? That I got to spar against every week. And you know, we all took the shit real serious. Like it was real serious. Like, you know, to win that battle on a Monday night was real clout. Like the way we looked at it in the scene, if you didn't win that battle, you wasn't an MC in that scene. Like you had to not just compete in that battle, you had to win one of those. And that W made you a made man as far as rhyming went. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of back then. It was a war zone. It was a war zone. It was fun.
Man. So were you the type that you wrote most of your lyrics out back then before you went out there?
Oh no. Back then we was freestyling. Back then it was off the head, and
there you go.
there was a lot, you know, it was over beats, you know, back then and everything. So people would come on and it was like Scribble Jam shit. It was like, yo, this nigga standing in front of you, like you got to analyze his whole situation and then go at him. You know what I mean? And we was doing that, and it got to the point though, like when we was like I said, it was a war zone. Like when I was in that era and coming up in Orlando and all of that, you know, I really running around the city. Like I would go to the movie theater and be in the line, and people be like, yo, they call me Blade back then. They be like, yo, you Blade? Yo, my man want battle. And I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to go to the movies and shit. They be like, nah, my man want battle right now. And I'd be like, all right, let's do it, nigga, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Or I had my man Johnny Storm had niggas run up on him in the bathroom. He trying to, you know, he in the bathroom at the spot. They trying to battle. We went down. We went to like downtown Disney, and we used to go out there and hang out. We went out there with a bottle of Goldschlager and battle and a little boom box and was battling niggas, just niggas that looked hip hop. He was like, yo, you rap, nigga? What's up? You know, he battle. You know what I mean? Just niggas, you got on Tim's? Let's battle, nigga. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, but it was a war zone. Like we felt like me and my guy, we felt like we was the nicest MCs, and we just always wanted to prove it, you know, all the time. So I mean, and it's funny because that's my upbringing. That's the come up through Orlando, but that's how I feel today. Like, you know, like that's what gave me the say. I still got that say. A lot of niggas don't move like that. I still move like that. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I still got rapper energy in me. So, you know, that was the difference between Orlando now is that it's real nice. Like everybody gets a golf clap when they rap. You know what I mean? Like if you stand on a stage, you'll get clapped. Like, oh yeah, congrats. Like you came up here. That's real nice. But like I didn't come from, like you would get booed. You would get chastised. They used to have the show was called the Hush Show. We used to have a recap show that they would drop. This is way back in like fucking 02, like 03, 04, right? They had this recap show that my man Temperamental used to put together, and some of the people he was down with. And the recap show was like on the internet. It was like it took dumb long to load. You know what I mean? Like you can never really watch it, but he did all these graphics and shit. So like you would be rapping, like on the video, you would be rapping, and if you was trash, he would throw a big circle with the X on you, and it would go, it just X you out. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was just horrible. You know what I mean? It was just whole shit. So yeah, that was you didn't want that. You know what I mean? So that's where we came from.
Yeah, man. That's definitely, I could see that energy.
Yeah.
Because I remember, you know, a few places like that growing up in New York City being like that. Yeah.
Well, a lot of us was, you know, New York transplants. So that's Florida shit. You know, a lot of people was from the north. So we all on that. And we probably all came down thinking we the only nigga from New York. Like, yo, like, you know, I'm from New York. Like, nigga, there's a lot of niggas from New York out here. You know what I mean? But we kind of really felt that energy, man. It was different back then. I miss those days.
Dope. What I really enjoy about your lyricism is it doesn't matter if it's a dope beat, you always come with it. And I remember one of the early projects you did was a remix project. It was the the DJ Muggs versus MidaZ, the Grandmasters.
Ooh, classic. Classic. That's my shit. I was rhyming on that. I was rhyming super hard on that.
Yeah.
I remember that because it was just that was rapping on that. That was like rapped out and shit. Yeah. Shout out to that project.
Dope. I think you had a few others, right? You had one with Pete Rock as well, right?
Yeah, I did MidaZ versus Muggs, and then I followed that up with MidaZ versus Pete Rock. And I did I actually recorded pretty much the whole thing of MidaZ versus Madlib. I just ended up never putting it out.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I actually to keep it a buck, I don't even think I have it. It existed at one point, but I don't even think I had it. But yeah, those remix projects was like again, bro, like I had an insatiable like desire to rap. Like I really was about writing and rhyming. And when I Make Mad Beats moved away from before he moved to New York, because I used to spend every week at him and Czar's crib and recording and all that. And when he moved and Czar moved too, it was like, all right, I gotta figure out how I could still be recording and shit. So they, I Make Mad Beats has set me up with a little way to record at the crib. And the first thing I did, it was probably like a week or two after he left or something. I was like, all right. And then I saw that the Muggs instrumentals had dropped back then. And I was like, yeah, all right. And, my idea was, this is how bold a nigga was back then. I think back at like Young MidaZ, and I'm like, man, I was kind of out of control. But like, I was like, yo, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just remake this whole project and like just rap everywhere that the Jizza rap. Just take off the Jizza and put on MidaZ. And like, this is gonna be the move. You know what I mean? I think about that now. It's like, do what now? You go and then you go put it out like you want people to hear that versus hearing the Jizza do it.
Jizza.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it was just like, yo, I can rap as good as the Jizza. Like, what's up? You know what I mean? And that was kind of the energy back then. But yeah, I did that project in a weekend. You know what I'm saying? That was fun.
Yeah, that's dope. And that's definitely lyrical exercise for the MCs.
Yeah. It was, that project was different. We did it in a weekend, and it was just like every beat came on, and I was just like, just trying to go crazy. And my man Conscious did I remember Conscious did this crazy artwork. The artwork was ill. How he superimposed the nigga on there, and that was ill. That was the first, like we put that on. I remember, like, it's funny how the internet plays. Like, I released that project on. It was a sound, might have been a SoundClick link or something like. No, it was like it was one of them type of links. It was like a like one of them just like WeTransfer type shits, but like back then, I forget which one. But it
like
was
like shit or something like that.
Yeah, it was just one of them links, and I had that shit. I had that shit on my MySpace page, like, yo, cop. You know what I mean? And like that shit moved around though for like a link. You know what I mean? So that was kind of crazy. It was just straight on the MySpace page.
That's dope. So at this point, this is pretty much your infancy in learning how to record and mix your own music.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, it's funny. I wouldn't call myself any sort of a mix engine. Like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. But as far as recording myself, that was a skill that was. I Make Mad Beats. I think for him it was when he moved away. He was like, "Yo, how I'm gonna get verses off this nigga if he can't go nowhere to record? Like, I got to show you." So, he helped me build my first my first computer, and I probably took the hand-me-down mic, and I think maybe I bought a little sound card or something, and my nigga Rugged gave me some monitors, like we pieced the lab together, and I had a little lab, and that was back in like 05, and that's when I started really recording myself, which I look back on, and it's the best thing I ever learned how to do. It's the best thing it's the most important thing I ever learned how to do for my career in rap. You know what I mean? Learning how to record and lightly mix it enough so that it could be heard by human beings. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that was the biggest skill that I ever got put onto, was really learning how to do that, because every project that's come out from me has come from my home studio. So I've not been in those studios. Every guest appearance, all that comes from here in these rooms. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
that's what that taught me how to do.
And shout out to I Make Mad Beats, because what you're talking about kind of coincides with his TED talk of someone is waiting on you to be you.
Oh yeah, facts. That's 100%. Like, we went through all the I mean, we slept on the floors, and the first studio the first I Make Mad Beats lab, the from the Hush show that I ended up going to, when he was like, "Yo, you should come through and record." The nigga had the two mattresses. They touched they made like a corner, and then he had like some blanket over the mattress, and then like the mic, and then if it was hot as shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you got to turn off the fans and the AC, and like where they was living, the moment you turned off that shit, you would die like immediately from heat. So like the whole thing was, you wanted to record your verses fast, so you didn't fucking catch heat exhaustion and shit. And if you did too much moving in the booth, like the mattresses just fall on you and shit. You know what I mean? And because the mattresses was just held up by each other. You know what I mean? There wasn't no crazy setup. So like we really was like, we went through all of that. And I'm so proud of my brother, what he doing nowadays. But that was what kind of that energy and that waiting on you to be you, like for all of us, that was a mantra for us.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you do these days to keep that pen sharp?
I mean, I write a lot, man. I mean, I write a lot. I still write a lot. You know what I'm saying? I still record a lot. Obviously 87 and just came out, and 84 is getting ready to come out. But the way I move, like my next probably six projects is done. And when I say done, I mean recorded. You know what I'm saying? And sequenced, and they have artwork, and they're just sitting on ice, ready to be the next thing. And the we put out 87 like 2 weeks ago. When I put out 87, first thing I did was hit Deli and was like, "Yo, let's get started on this next shit." Like the day we put out 87, we started working on and finished a new project. So I just like to write, man. Like creating is so fun to me, and I love music and words and seeing what could come of that. So that's what keeps the pen. And then to answer your question more officially, when you say what keeps the pen sharp, every time I see one of these top rapper lists and I'm not on it, I just hate these niggas. So I gotta, I'm like, a word. Or every time I talk to a nigga and I'm like, and they like, yeah, this nigga's my favorite MC. Or this nigga's my favorite. I'm like, word, this nigga's trash. Like that's just my energy. You know what I mean? So that's so Benny's your favorite rap? I gotta go back to the lab. I gotta write something else to let it be known that like these niggas is not fucking with me. So that's always been my energy, is just be the illest nigga.
Dope. Now, what was your first official album? Was that
that would have been AU.
AU? Another Universe? Okay.
Yeah, that would have been AU. Another Universe would have definitely been, I guess, what I consider my debut. Everything before that was just the mixtapes. You know what I mean? We did, I think before AU was Beast Wars. I think we did.
That's right.
and then MidaZ versus Muggs, and I think MidaZ versus Pete Rock was the project right before AU. So it was during the MidaZ versus Pete Rock universe, because at the time of MidaZ versus Pete Rock, I spent the summer in New York with Czar and I Make Mad Beats, and we were working on the I Make Mad Beats album and MidaZ versus Pete Rock at the same time. Like those were the two things that were happening. I actually recorded a lot of MidaZ versus Pete Rock in New York, and not down here. And then we went on tour with Ono and Roxy, and that tour, Ono kept being like, "Yo, when you gonna do an album though? Like, when you gonna do an album? When you gonna do an album?" I'm like, and I'll be honest, I had never really even thought of doing an album like that. Like, that wasn't even like a thought to me, because I was always doing music as a group, but I Make Mad Beats in that way. So I wasn't really thinking about doing like a solo album. I had never really considered that. And him kind of being like, "Yo, you should do an album." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I should do an album." You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of the start of AU. I started writing AU on that tour. So AU would have been the first album.
Okay, dope. Shout out Kevin Nottingham.
Shout out Kevin Nottingham, who ended up AU was 3 years in before I even met Kevin Nottingham.
Wow.
But when I met Kevin Nottingham, and I can imagine, like, and those was the blog days and all that. Like, it was. When I met Kevin Nottingham, I was like, "Oh shit, it's Kevin Nottingham!" Like, he was a big blogger at the time. And
yeah, I
remember being like, "Yo, I got an album like that I want you to put out on your label." And he was like, all right, just send it to me. He was kind of passive about it. Yeah, send it to me. And I was like, yeah. And then when I told him who was on the album, he was like, wait, what? Like, oh no, we need to do this, and because that we had Planet Asia and Rock Marcy and Oh No and Blueprint and Sabak, and
the
album had heads on it. So he was I told, and then different producers and shit, and he was like, oh yeah, let's do that. So shout out Kevin Nottingham. That was fresh.
Yeah. Put me onto a lot of music when he was blogging back then.
Yep.
A lot of music.
That was the blog days.
Yeah. Dope. Now, being that you have Rock Marcy on this album, tell us how I Make Mad Beats end up putting you on through jazz.
Oh man. Damn, how you even know that? That's mad funny. So Nemo, if I butcher this story, my bad. This is a long time ago and shit, but I believe the way that this shit worked was Neem was engineering at Quad Studios back in the day, and I guess from his dealings at Quad, he had met and knew Jazz. He had at least met Jazz, and him and Jazz had, I guess, stayed in some kind of contact. And so me and Czar was big Moss fans. I mean, early, and let me make sure I say this clear, because I'll get chastised for this. So TZ was a huge Moss fan. Czar was a big Moss fan, and Czar put niggas on. Czar put me on. Czar put I Make Mad Beats on. Like, yo, you fuck with this kid Rock Marcy's crazy. We were like, and I remember he played the UN album for us, and we were like, this shit is fucking phenomenal. Like, what is this? Like, we was driving from Jacksonville. We was driving from, rest in peace to the god Peyton Locke. We was driving from Peyton Locke's crib in Jacksonville, and Czar was driving the Nissan and just threw some CD in, and what is this hard ass shit? He's like, oh, it's the UN. And then Czar is the type of nigga to be like, oh, this the UN. You ain't up on this shit. Like, Nah, nigga, we never heard this shit before. What the fuck is this? And this shit was murder. So I remember just us being big Rock Marcy fans, and you know, like I was a big Rock Marcy fan, and I was like, yo, like this dude need to do like an album, like that shit would be crazy. And you know, that was, I mean, us being into Marcy was probably and running into jazz and then from Nemo running into jazz, I had started to talk with Jazz and became friends with Jazz. Shout out Jazz. And you know, like I used to just talk to Jazz we used to just talk on the phone, like, yo, what up? What you doing? Chilling? Yeah, no doubt. And he used to be like, yo, Rock just did a song with Just Blaze. Like, word? You know what I mean? Like we used to just have crazy conversations and shit. But yeah, that ended up turning into you know, when I started working on the album, Rock was definitely, I was like, yo, I hit him up, like, yo, I need Rock on this. And shout out Jazz, he held me down.
So, you mentioned dope, you know, artists. Peyton Locke, you know, definitely rest in peace to him.
Woo!
Man.
God, Peyton Locke.
Man. And shout out to Full Plate for, you know,
Shout out Full Plate,
that new album, man.
My guy Dylan, you know.
Yep.
Shout out. Yeah, that's family. That's family. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, shout out Peyton Locke. Me and Peyton Locke was working on an album when he passed. You know what I'm saying? So we had we probably, I don't know, maybe 5 songs in. And the last, you know, thing, and I kind of keep it just the way is I had got a text from Peyton. He might have already been sick. I don't know. He wasn't really. I didn't know if he was sick or not. You know, he's in Jacksonville, I'm Orlando, but he had sent me a text like, yo, I think I just found the intro to the album. Or I think I just made the intro to the album, which is a beat. He's like, Pete, and he sent me this beat, and it was murder. I still got it. It's crazy. And he was like, and I was like, this shit's crazy. He was like, yeah. He was like, I think it's an intro, but maybe if you want to rhyme on it, go ahead and rhyme on it. And that was the last kind of back and forth that me and P-Lock had. And I always hated it because I wish I would have rhymed on it and sent it to him, so he would have had that. But I had never wrote to it. It was super hard and slow, and I didn't write to it. But you know, rest in peace, P-Lock. That's my brother, man. That's one of the illest niggas of all time. Is Peyton Locke. Niggas don't even know. P-Lock do it all. P-Lock produce, DJ,
yeah.
Perform, like all that. And he was a wild digger. P-Lock crib had the most records I had ever seen. I remember when I did Loops 2, I went to P-Lock's crib. It was like a writer. So for me, going to Jacksonville and spending the evening at Peyton's crib was what I had to do every time I got ready to put something out, because I needed the P-Lock stamp of approval on shit. So went to I remember playing Loops 2 for P-Lock, and P-Lock was sitting in his chair. And every joint that came on, he would get up and go grab the record. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious right now, nigga? Like, I mean, I was digital digging, but I dug though. Like, look, the joints that's on Loose 2, I ain't never heard none of them joints on nothing else after that. So, what the fuck? You know what I mean? He would just he was sitting there, he'd be like, ooh, I like what you did there. Then he would get up and just go get it. Like, yo, that's it. I'm like, yo, so P-Lock was the illest, man. So
that's respect, yeah.
Rest in peace, P-Lock, man. That's my guy.
Dope. And you know, you got a great relationship with a lot of dope people. So, and it's not just short term; it's long term. From what I know so far. So, you also got to speak about the other half of Dumbtron, Willie Evans Jr.
Willie Evans Jr. Yeah. Nah, man, I ain't gonna show Willie no love because listen, I met Willie before I met Peyton. So, all right. So right quick, and if Willie sees this, he already know because I tell the same Willie Evans story every time. We was me and I Make Mad Beats had a show. We was headlining the show in Jacksonville, and Willie Evans was and Tough Junkie was on the under. They was coming up before us. We had never heard of this dude Willie Evans. We had never heard of Tough. We didn't know these niggas at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we and I'm out here. I'm on some B shit. So we had a good show. Like back in the day, I Make Mad Beats and I had a really fire like stage show. Team show. So we used to just do shows and be like, we're about to body all these niggas. Like, woo. We used to come in and look at niggas and be like, y'all don't even know the bodying that's about to go down. Like it was funny to us. We would look at rappers and be like, oh, we're about to kill these niggas, right? And I remember like we used to feel real disrespected when we didn't go on last because we was like, we're gonna kill these niggas. Like we need to go on last. So anyway, Tough Junkie goes on. You familiar with Tough Junkie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Tough Junkie goes on. He came on with a samurai hat, and he had like a fucking cloak dashiki shit on, and he was passing out gift bags. And me and Nemo was like, what the fuck is that? Like, what kind of trick shit is this? And then he started performing and he was killing it. We were like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like, I don't even know what's happening right now. But after this nigga, fucking Willie came on stage. He had the screen. He brought a screen on stage. This is early. Niggas wasn't doing this shit. He brought a screen on stage. Whatever song that he performed, he was rapping like back and forth with a video of himself on the screen. Wow. And the nigga on the screen was making the beat. I was like, yo, what the fuck? So all of this is happening. I remember me and I Make Mad Beats was standing on the side like, yo, what kind of shit is this, bro? Like, how do you follow this shit? This is he's doing all kind of crazy shit. That was the first time I realized it's better to not headline. I'll go third. Let me hold that down. You know what I mean? But nah, Willie Evans though. But nah, I ain't gonna show Willie no love because I met Willie way back then. He was supposed to give me a beat. He was like, yo, I'm gonna hit you with a beat. One beat. It's 2023. I still have never seen this beat. I don't have any emails from Willie Evans Jr. at all in my email inbox. None. If I search Willie Evans Jr. in my Gmail, I won't find shit. So I'm still waiting on this one ass Willie Evans beat from 2004, and it'd be nice if I ever got it. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Now, you're gonna be part of a dope show next month down in your hometown. But earlier this month, you had a dope show with Currency.
Yeah. Fire. Me and my brother Sharp just, on body bag mode. So that was good. It was a good turnout. It was lit. I don't know Currency. I don't really know none of his people, nothing like that. But it was a really dope show. Really dope show.
And speaking on the upcoming show, it's with Planet Asia and Kill Army. Kill Army, part of them is from my hometown, Staten Island. But it's crazy that it's 2022, you're doing the show. And I believe one of your earlier projects, you had Beretta 9 on there. So once again, long-time relationship.
The relationships matter. Everything comes full circle. I met Beretta. Here's what's crazy. I met Beretta I was still in high school when I met Beretta. Back in those early like crazy battle days. Like I met Beretta back then. And Beretta was always solid. Beretta was the first like in the game rapper I had ever met. You know what I mean? Like I met him at the Bobby Digital tour. You know what I'm saying? I was battling Monk from Black Knights in the crowd. And they was like, yo, we're gonna take you to Monk was like, yo, I'm gonna take you to meet RZA. Like, you killing it. And then after the show, he didn't take me to meet RZA. So, you know, me being like 17, I was just like, yo, what's up? Like, we waiting after the show, like, yo, this nigga said he's gonna take me to meet RZA. And I saw Beretta going to like get a drink, and I'm like, yo, this nigga said he was gonna take me to meet RZA. And he didn't take me to meet RZA, you know what I mean? And Beretta was like, word? Yo, I'm gonna take you to meet RZA, you know what I mean? And he did, and you know, like we talked that night, and you know, I rapped for all of them. I remember I ciphered with Don P, and you know, Ron with the whole Killer Army, and you know, I put CDs all over the RZA tour bus and shit, and like all in the windshield wipers, everything, and you know, it was crazy because that was just a wild, crazy night, and then I thought that was just the end of that. And me and Beretta had exchanged numbers, but you know, I wasn't gonna call him and shit. And he, you know, so like maybe a year or two later, he was in Orlando and just called me like, "Yo, I'm in Orlando. What's up? We should get up." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And we did, and he came through the Amic Mad Beats crib and did a verse for us, and you know, and me and Beretta been boys ever since then. That's always my big brother in this shit, you know, because that's the first dude I met that was like, yeah, I fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? When he didn't have to fuck with me. There was no reason for him to fuck with me. You know what I mean? So and through my relationship with Beretta and my ability to have a real affiliation with Beretta, that was really the thing that opened up a lot of opportunities for me was, you know, I could wave a Killer Army badge, you know, back then and be like, yo, I'm down with Killer Army, you know what I mean? And that opened up doors, you know what I mean, for me, and that gave me opportunities and shit. So yeah, to come full circle, you know, like they you know, they starting back doing shows and shit. And you know, I was like, yo, y'all gotta come out here, you know, that's family.
Yeah.
So, you know, I went out and did the LA show with them, and that was dope. And then the next show was gonna be here in Orlando. So shout out my brother Ninth Prince. You know, shout out Big Bro Kinetic, um, you know, and Shogun. Those my guys. So, you know, and that's like I said, that's 20 years. That's 20 years I've been knowing them. So that's super love with them guys.
Definitely. That's dope, man. And the other half of the show is yet again another long time relationship. Planet Asia.
Yo,
Music.
my partner in rhyme, Chain. What up? You know what I mean? Chain. Y'all niggas know what time it is. That's Big Bro, man. Fuck. PA. It's the god right there. And he's the illest. So like, you know, like that's just the thing. Czar, I met PA through Czar. You know, Czar was doing work with PA back you know, early, and then they did the album or whatever like that. And I was around for a lot of those sessions, and you know, PA always fuck with me, you know, both as a person and as an MC, and we became, you know, boys and family, and you know, and that's Big Bro. Big Bro always show up for me when I need him to. You know, Big Bro always answer the phone. Big Bro always put me on. So, you know, that's my guy right there. So, you know, and you know, he brought me into the Gold Chain family, and you know, that's how we rock out. So, big shout out Planet Asia. He was, we just me and Planet Asia just did an album, like got a whole project in the tuck that we going to drop a little tandem, you know, MC shit. So that's
Did Sharp also work on that project with the two of you?
Sharp is on that project. Yeah, Sharp did maybe 3 or 4 beats on that project. So Sharp did beats on that project. Deli did beats on that project. Czar got beats on that project. That's gonna be a monster because they got a lot of the dudes
crazy.
A lot of we got some dirty digs on there. Like that's gonna be a monster between all those cats. Yeah. It's real crazy. We did like 9, 10 songs. So yeah, great in like 4 days. So it's real fire.
Speaking of Sharp, live nigga rap.
Woo!
Man, that was crazy.
Yeah,
And
man.
then the video you dropped for that.
Yeah, man. Word up. Peace to the God Sharp. I was talking to Sharp today. Sharp birthday tomorrow. So,
Oh,
you
what's
know,
that?
happy born day to my right hand man in this shit. You know what I mean? Sharp. It's my right hand man. That's my tag team partner. You know what I mean? Like me and Sharp, you know, Sharp is involved in everything I'm doing some kind of way, up or down. Sharp do. I love Sharp. Sharp do anything that I need him to do, and vice versa. Like Sharp show up. Like, yo, Sharp, I need cuts. Yo, Sharp, I need this. Yo, Sharp, I need you to pick me up, take me over there. You know what I mean? Like whatever is the flex. Like Sharp is with the shits. You know what I mean? So and Sharp is a savage on the beats. I mean,
Yeah.
he's out of control, man. And yeah, live nigga rap was fun, man. Like yeah, we got the follow up to live nigga rap in the tuck too. That's the album. I'll leak the name. It's the album is called the DuPont Registry. And that's coming up next. That's coming out on Chain. So yeah, it's gonna be just fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharp is a killer.
Now, what was the approach with the track titles on Live Nigga Rap?
Shit, what's on live nigga rap? Pardon,
Kyrie,
the season.
Watch.
Yeah, Watch.
Yeah, in the season. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Nah, what live nigga rap was coming out of doing Sidewalk. I just really I got this. So like my current like production world is right. Like it's like how you got the angel and the devil on your shoulders, right? So like I got Deli and I got Sharp, right? I'm not saying which one of them is the devil and which one of them is the angel, but one of them niggas is the devil. But nah, I was just playing. They on my shoulders, right? And I get different. I get to be two different rappers, depending on which one of them I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? So me and Sharp do one thing, and then me and Deli do another thing. We do a different thing, and that's kind of the beauty. So like one of the things that I try to do, if I can, is try to alternate those sounds a little bit. If I'm gonna do a Deli project, probably a good idea to follow it with a Sharp project, and then kind of bounce those off because Deli, the sound is what we do. What me and Deli do is definitely more. I think our thing is just. I think it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Me and Deli we got a vibe going on. Me and Sharp do b-boy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we call it. Like that's just b-boy music. Like this is rap music for rap niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what me and Sharp do. So it's a good balance. You know what I mean? But that's Sharp is me and Sharp is hip hop b-boys, man. Like that's the flavor.
Got you. Now, I've noticed, found a quote from you before that you refer to Deli as a emotional perfectionist.
Facts. That's a fact. Yeah, because, and what I mean by emotional, it's not on no whole shit. Like, what it is with Deli is that his whole vibe is Deli feels music. Not this, like, first of all my producer niggas, I make mad Deli. What's funny is the one like correlation between all the niggas that I personally work with is that they all really feel music. These are music guys. They feel music deep. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a compulsion, and I'm the same way. That's why we all connect that way. But Deli's a little different because Deli, like, I don't know, like he really feels like it's all about how it feels to him. You know what I'm saying? And I think Deli listens in color. You know what I mean? And it's like it's all textures and where the textures sit and then what is that? And if he don't feel it, it don't like it's real crazy. Like he's just got a he's got a personal relationship with records and samples in a way that I mean, the closest thing that I've ever seen to it is like Peyton Locke is like that with records. It was like that with records. But Deli's relationship with records is special. And that's why, you know, when you listen to the stuff that I do with Deli, like I think one of the things that stands out is just the sample selection and just how crazy the samples that he chooses are and then how he chops them and how he puts them together. But he does all of that. I mean, he's got a rudimentary setup. He's just super talented, and he really feels music. Like music is it's not even like he don't care about nothing. He don't care about money. He don't care about, you know, accolade like that. It's there. As a matter of fact, he'd probably just be like, "Yeah, I'm good." Like he just wants to create and love it, you know. And it's a really pure relationship that he has with me. His relationship with music is not tampered with. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very pure, and that's kind of I think the thing that makes Deli like so ill.
And you can feel the vibe of his music, like when you listen to '87, and then you go back and listen to Where the Sidewalk Ends. You know, you feel how his music comes out, and you are that how would you say? You're that part of that catalyst to bring out the vocals with the music that he does.
Yeah, I always feel like my job is to provide details to the score. You know, so like when you watch a movie, the score is playing and you're seeing the details. You're seeing the details. Well, in music's case, you can't see the details. So what I have to do is detail what's happening on screen, even though you can't see what's happening on screen. And that's kind of how I've always looked at, you know, my relationship with beats is okay. I need to provide the detail. Or, you know, a better way to put it is like I think of myself as like a color commentator. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the producer provides, they're the play-by-play guy, or, you know, and then I gotta provide the color, or vice versa. It's one of the two. Or they're the color guy and I gotta provide the play-by-play. But that's the relationship. It's a play-by-play guy and it's a color guy. We've gotta connect to give you a visual. We want, you know, I remember where I got that idea. I remember listening, you know, first time hearing Rainy Days by Raekwon and Ghost, and just being like, you know, you hear the thunder in the beginning of the joint, and then it's raining. That comes in, like, but the solo of the voice first, and then it comes in and the beat hits, and then there's rain. And I was just like, yo, this is a fucking experience right here. Like,
right.
You know, with the singing and then the beat is so cinematic. And she's singing and Ray is giving that Raekwon picture. And I just remember being like, this is what I have to do on every song. Like I have to paint. I have to give you such a, and like what Ray did on that song to me was, and Ghost did on that song was, they heard a beat and was like, oh, you know what this beat feels like to me? It feels like it's raining outside. And then they wrote a story of that day in the rain, you know, like, and that's kind of what I try to do with every joint is, all right, this what this beat, what does this beat sound like to me? You know, oh shit, like the Season off of Live Nigga Rap. When I heard the season sounded like it sounded like cold New York, you know, like
one of them hoodie days.
One of them hoodie days, you know what I'm saying? And Tim boots and hoodies and just like outside, like fucking trash blowing like tumbleweeds and shit. I was like, okay, yeah, it's that season. And you know, and then I wanted to just fit that that feeling. So yeah, that's what we do, man.
Now, tell us the story of how Observe linked you up with Chong Wizard to put
Oh man.
Where the South Ends on vinyl.
Woo, fire. Yeah. Woo. Hey, that's a collector's item right there. Yo, them joints never to be reprinted. You know, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
If you got one of the, well, we did 100. That's it. Because them shits is all gone, my nigga.
They're going.
I only got one of them, two of them. Like,
Okay.
I got two, Deli got two, Gift Revolver got two. Like, we done. But
Yeah, I made sure I picked up the cassette too.
woo, fire. I know what you don't got though. Hold on. I'm up. Let me fuck with you right quick. You ain't got one of these though. Hold on. Yeah, you ain't got one of these though.
How did I know you was gonna bring that up? I do have one of those. Yeah, man.
That's the joint right there, but not Yeah, Observe, man. Who put me on Observe? Yo, shout out my guy Evildoer.
Okay.
My guy Evildoer put me on Observe. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Evildoer. That's my dude. And he was like, oh, he was like, oh, whatever. I forget what the linkage was about, but he connected me and Observe, and that's my guy. Shout out Observe. And it's funny because I was actually a big fan of Chong Wizard tapes back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told him that because Chong Wizard used to do the Wu-Tang tapes and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like you're the same dude that was doing the Wu-Tang tapes that I was getting off of like Audio Galaxy and like Kazaa and shit. Like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy and shit. Like, how crazy is that? And Chong is just he's a really good guy, man. He's a good brother, and Chong is connected with a lot of different people. So, when I put Bad Day at Black Rock out, and that's I'm fucking with Observe, and I think me and Chong had started a little conversation back then, and then Chong was a really big fan of Sidewalk. Sidewalk is like one of his favorite albums and shit. So from it's funny because we put out Sidewalk, we didn't do no physicals. Sidewalk was out for like a year before we did.
Mm-hmm.
He actually called me and was like, he reached out to me. He was like, "Can we please get this on vinyl? Like, I love it. Like, I want it physical, even if it's just for me, And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So, we did the physical for Sidewalk. So, shout out Chong Wizard. We got a lot in the tuck, me and Chong. So, shout out Chong Wizard, Chong Wizard Records. 22, 23. We got a lot in the tuck.
Man. Yeah, because y'all was doing the stuff with the Infinity series too.
Yeah, he was doing his Infinity series. I got to join on one of those. I got that album over here somewhere. We got joints in the tuck that we never really put out. But really, what we're doing right now, he's going to do the physicals for 84, 87. We're going to put them both projects on one vinyl.
Oh, okay.
And we're doing tape, CDs, the whole run for 84, 87. We got some more stuff to be announced after that. So we working too. Shout out Chong Wizard.
Dope. I'm looking forward to those. Now, Dele is not from the U.S. He's from Uruguay. How did the two of you link up?
Yeah, that was through my guy Tough Junkie. Shout out Tough Junkie. I guess the story is that Deli and Tough Junkie were working on music. I don't know how Tough Junkie met Deli or heard, or from I think what Deli tells me, he was just reaching out to different MCs some kind of way, trying to get beats out, in the world. And he was working with Tough, and I guess him and Tough did a couple joints, which is super funny because Tough is an MC. He's a producer MC. So, and he's produced for me. So I was like, why were you talking? Why you just produce your own album? Like it always used to fuck me up. But I guess he was working with Deli on some shit. And shout out Tough, because Tough's ill. Tough was like, yo, when I was hearing beats from this guy, all I could think of was, oh, you need to work with my man. You need to work with my man MidaZ, which is a crazy thing for him. Like, it's a crazy thing for an MC to get this, like, really, like, nobody knows who this producer is, cat, and then be like, yo, I'm gonna link you with my man. Like, you kind of just usually just keep that guy in your tuck, like I'm doing, right? But he had he told Deli to hit me up. He was like, yo, you should hit up MidaZ, and Deli dropped beats in my email. Just random. There was like 3 beats in my email, and I was just like, you know. And here's the thing: like, I'm a snobby beat picker, you know. So like, I'm real careful about what beats I rap on, and you know, like I got McNabb beats and Zarism and Paint and Lock and Sharp, and like I got niggas, bro. Like I don't need no beats. Like it's fucked up because so many producers be in my DMs, and I'm like, I don't need no beats, bro. Like at all. Like never. Like I don't ever need beats. Like I'm good. But fucking he's, you know, I was like, one day I was just in the crib, I'm like, listen to these beats. And one of them was nasty. And I was like, that's kind of nasty. And I remember I did a joint to it, and then he sent more beats. And you know, when we first started working, he would send me like, he used to send a lot of beats. He would send like 20 beats. And like of the 20, like 2 of them I'd be like, all right, these 2 are kind of fire. And the rest of them, like, yeah. And they all had good ideas, but they just I don't think his technique was fully realized at that point, as far as what I was kind of used to technique wise. So we worked a little bit, maybe did 3 or 4 songs, and then we kind of just faded off, and that was it. Well, I ended up wanting to use one of those songs on Martin and Gina, and I had reached out to him like, yo, I need the stems for this beat. I can get it mixed. And he's like, yo, I got new beats. This was like 5 years later. And he's like, yo, I got new beats. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, whatever, you can send them through. And then they were all fire, every beat. So you went from like a 1 out of 20 to like, or 2 out of 20 to like 9 out of 10. You know, every beat was crazy. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And we just started banging out. So like when we did Sidewalk, we had recorded like 65 songs or 70 songs or something. You know, we put like maybe 15 songs on Sidewalk, but we have recorded like 70. We did a lot of records. And you know, that's kind of, I mean, even between Sidewalk and 84, 87, we've done like 300 joints. Like he move at the pace I move at. And that's what's kind of crazy about Deli. But yeah, that's how we ended up linking up. And you know, I've known Deli for however long I've known him, but I got more songs with Deli than I got with anybody ever. Like me and Deli create, like we're constantly creating. So you know, that's yeah. Me and Deli got a lot in the tuck, like, and there's a lot coming out. And I call him that's my 40. You know, like Drake and 40. Like that's my 40. You know, like that's the producer. That's my producer. You know what I'm saying? That I take on the road with me, and like he only do beats for MidaZ. Like that's what we do, you know. But that's my 40. So shout out Deli. That's my guy.
Definitely shout out Deli, and thank you for working with him, because at that point, that's when I started looking to see what else he had out there, and I found his Bandcamp and his SoundCloud.
Yeah, he got his instrumental joints, and they're fire. Mm-hmm. And then the new instrumental joint he just put out was fire.
Yeah,
we put out in
I think it was in November. Yeah,
that's just fire. He got more of that in the chamber that's coming, and you know, he's so ill. He's so ill. I can't express the illness. And here's the thing, y'all niggas haven't heard the best Deli beats, and y'all niggas haven't heard the best songs. Like the best, like. I haven't put the best songs out. Like those songs, there's some really ridiculous Deli beats that I have that are like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like nobody's doing this type shit. And you know, That's Deli, man. So I mean, hopefully all that shit will come out. But he's special. He's definitely special.
And and 84 is coming out
Next week,
29th.
yeah, or this week,
Friday, yeah.
Friday. You know what I'm saying? Friday, 84. Yeah, the science with 84, 87 was we have been doing. So we've got an album that we have been working on, um, called The Devil's Playground. It's we started. That's the follow up to. So I don't consider 84, 87 a follow up to Sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
The follow up is really the Devil's Playground, and we had started working on the Devil's Playground before I got sick, and while I was when I got out of chemo and started doing better and all that kind of stuff, you know, Deli's whole thing was, and between my getting sick and then he even has some, some personal tragedy on his side and everything. And, I think Deli's whole thing, which, I can't, I gotta say, I feel him on this, but it wasn't my thought process, but we were doing a lot of songs, right? So like, even though we were working on Devil's Playground, we weren't only doing songs for Devil's Playground. We were doing a lot of songs. And so some of the songs was coming out, like For You on 87. Like we would do something like that. And, or we would do something like Playalistic, like in the mix. And I remember Deli being like, yo, I really want to put out like a whole project of like this flavor shit. And I was just like, I mean, okay, I mean, we can. And then it was like, we got enough of those joints, like just in the mix of joints that we've done. There's a bunch of those kind of like fun, type. Because I think 87 and 84, both of those records is fun. Like those fun records.
Mm-hmm.
They feel good. They got some funk to them, and that's just the vibe on them shits. And got that ill like 70s, early 80s feeling to them and everything.
Yeah.
Roller rink music, you know what I mean, type shit to me. And he was like, yeah, I really want to put something like that out. And I was just like, okay. So one of the things that me and Deli always fight on is, because he's an extremely passionate, feeling guy when it comes to music, and then I'm a big feeling guy when it comes to my ear. So we fight over track lists. Like we go to war on track lists. Like, nah, that got to be on there. Nah, no, I want this, and I don't. So the whole thing with 84, 87 was, you know what? How about we put this out in 2 parts? You do the track list for one of the parts, and I'll do the track list for the other part. And that way, we solve the problem of who picks what songs. You pick the songs you want. I won't fight you. I won't say shit about your side of the album. It was like Speaker Box Love Below type shit. Like, I won't say shit about your side of the album. But you can't say shit about my side of the album. Like, that's how we gonna flex. And that's what we did. So 87, he's an 87 baby. I'm an 84 baby. So 87 is his side of the album. And then 84 is my side of the album, which comes out on Friday.
Okay. I was kind of thinking.
So 84 is better than 87. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a chance to hear it, shout out Deli. 84 is better. You know what I mean? It's iller because I picked all the joints on 84. Shout out Deli. He's gonna see this because Deli watches all this shit. He's gonna see this and hit me up like, no, bro. That's my guy.
Oh man. Mm-mm. Now throughout all these years from that second Wu-Tang double album, everyone remembers Inspector Deck setting it off.
That's right.
On that track. You set it off on Nico Is live from the Blue Note track.
This is a fact. This is a fact.
If anybody hasn't heard that track, they need to go listen to that.
Yeah.
It's featuring Talib Kweli which Nico is signed to his label, MidaZ, AL All Lyrics, Punchline, and Wordsworth.
Fire. Yeah. Hasta la vista. Oscar Osmosis with the roster that's deeper. Alibaba carpet, St. Valentine, cockfifth in the cockpit, arms regenerated, old starfish. Came from Shang Tsung and never made dung. Slangs my native tongue, how my doppelganger came up hung. They said it's 5 better rhymers, name him one. Aimed his gun at Attila the Hun. Off his loops, a mix of Dilla and pun. I'm on some rap shit, slavery. They never seen a nigga with son. Never seen a nigga with son. Come on, man. Murder. Yeah. Shout out Nico is, man. Shout out my guy Junior Ali. Shout out my brother Wordsworth. That's my guy. Shout out Talib Kweli. And then of course I hadn't met Punch and Punch and AL until we shot the video, but shout out Punch and AL. They man, good brothers and shit. But yeah, that was fun, man. So the whole deal with that was just me and Nico was in the lab and Nico was wanting to do something, man. That loop came on, and one of the jokes that my Orlando niggas have for me is that they think I don't like to rap on drums. So that loop came on and they were like, oh, MidaZ will rhyme on this, there's no drums. And so we was in the lab and that came on, and then I wrote my verse that night and laid it. But nobody else, Nico didn't do his verse that night. And as far as I knew, it was just gonna be me and Nico on the song. And then not only that, I hadn't even heard nobody. No, it was just me on the song. So for like 5 or 6 months, as far as I knew, I was the only person on the song, and Nico had hit me like, yo, we're gonna, I finally laid my verse. And I was like, okay. And I heard his verse and I was like, ooh, killed it, And then he was like, yo, I want to turn this into some lyricist lounge shit. I'm gonna get Kweli on this. And I'm like, get Kweli on it. So it just started to spiral, We got he put it all together and shit. But I think it's funny because it didn't start that way. It just started as it was just me on the song. So that's why I set it off, is because I set it off. You know what I'm saying? Like it was only one verse. So, so I always, whenever somebody says, like if there's a verse that they like better than mine on that song, they'll be like, yo, AL killed it, or whoever, I'll be like, well, them niggas got to hear my verse first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get to hear no niggas verse first. Like I was, that's my inside joke for how I deflect that negative energy. But nah, that's the joint, man. So shout out all those brothers, man. Again, Talib, such a good brother. My guy Nico, that's part of the fam. And then Wordsworth is that's one of my, Planet Asia, Beretta 9, Wordsworth. That's one of my brothers in this shit. So shout out Words, and then shout out AL and Punch, man. And Junior Ali did the beat. It's all family.
Junior Ali.
Yeah, the joint is out there and it's bubbling. So yeah, it's the joint.
Yeah, definitely want to hear that album when it drops.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire. I've heard a lot of the joints. It's fire, super fire. So shout out. That's coming soon from them guys.
Nice. One thing we didn't touch on yet is artwork. And 3 names that I've seen often with your work is Gift Revolver, Greg Rapper, and PQ.
Yeah. Well, I only know PQ through Charm Wizard. Like I didn't
okay.
That got put together outside of me. It's fire. I love what he did on the because he did the alternate version of Sidewalk, which is great. It looks crazy. It's got like the Beast on there, which is super fire. But Greg Rapper did 84, 87, and man, he killed it. I mean, I had a vision for what I wanted 87. You know, all my projects. So one of the things that I do is when I get the idea for a project, I need the artwork immediately. Like when I say immediately, I mean like I usually have artwork way before I'm even like 3 songs deep into a project.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is because I need to see and feel the vision of what this is as I'm as I'm creating it. Kind of keeps me on course of what the vision is for this project. So Greg, I had an idea for 84, 87. I had a couple ideas for 84, 87. And those couple ideas turned into the art that you see there, because the feeling that I want me and Deli really wanted from 84, 87 was just, you know, like I remember just thinking like it's not the kind of music that would get played in Studio 54, but like the imagery of Studio 54 is kind of the feeling that I wanted to get across. So just being on the dance floor and, you know, having a good time was really the flavor of 84, 87. So I'm glad that he did that. And, you know, Gift Revolver is the GOAT. Like Gift Revolver is one of the greatest artists. I mean, Gift Revolver is like fucking Jim Lee, you know. He's 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 Todd McFarlane of hip hop uh artists. And, you know, he's a brother of mine. And Gift is gifted. With he's as gifted with the pen as I'm gifted with the pen. You know what I'm saying? And in some cases more so. He's just really amazing. So, you know, one thing about Gift is that he's been able to morph between anything that I would ask Gift to, sometimes some real out of the box shit. He'll make it happen. I mean, he's the architect of the MidaZ the Beast logo, and you know, he drew AU way back then. You know what I'm saying? He's the architect behind Loops 2 and the Loops 2 book. And, you know, he was doing the new 52 when we was doing the new 52. And, you know, and then, of course, which I think is one of the illest things, is he did Sidewalk. And Sidewalk is amazing. And, you know, and that's a whole different style than what Gift does. And it was nothing for him. Like, he did it with ease. You know what I'm saying? And now he's doing the NFT thing, which is really fire. But I think even the NFT thing, you know, there's a lot of like it got that Sidewalk energy to like the art on that. So shout out Gift Revolver. That is definitely one of my brothers.
Dope. I was looking at one of my comments earlier when 87 came out, and I was saying how the atmosphere is chill, sometimes jazzy, other times an older 60s, 70s film transition to a late night cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And then hearing you say that right now,
that's the feeling to it. To me, like when you hear Seven Toes, you know, and da 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 da, you know, it's super vibey, man. And like, what's my joint on there? Oh man, Day Rays. Like Day Rays is crazy, man. You know, the beat on Day Rays is funky. Like, to me, that's some shit my grandma would like. You know what I mean? Like, it just got that feeling to it. So, you know, like that's and of course, Greg was really able to tap it. Greg was dope because Greg was able to. I didn't even send it to, like, Greg just ripped solely off of the vision I was feeding him. But I you know, since he's heard it, he's been like, yeah, I see, and it all makes logical sense now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Shout out to all the artists that I work with on that shit. Yeah, and gifted Bad Day at Black Rock too, which is crazy. So yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that was
when that album came out, that reminded me of one of the comics that he released as well. it had a similar type of style on it.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's the GOAT. That's the GOAT.
Now, when a person listens to your albums, what do you want them to take in from it?
Good question. Honestly, man, like I want people to I want you to so I want in a perfect world, right? Like I would want you to feel how I feel when I listen to my favorite artists, you know, and I I like to recreate the things that make my favorite artists to me.
Mm.
I want to recreate that for a listener. So like, you know, re, replayability is important to me, uh being I want you to feel like you have to keep listening to it to get it all.
Mm.
Like there's I love the feeling of listening to a record and being like, yo, I was listening to some Doom shit the other day, and my man was like, yo, this song is about whatever he said it was about, right? I was like, what? I might have heard this song like 100 times. You know what I'm saying? I never put that's what it was about, whatever it was about. And I was like, get the fuck out of here for real. Like to me, that's a special feeling. Or like, when you hear a song that you've heard 80 times, you're like, yo, I get that line now. Like that's crazy that he said that. Like that's kind of that's one of my things. But really, outside of that, it's just I want people to feel like, this is a record that you like. These records are records that you can listen to, and you can tell that the artist on both sides, the MC and the producer and the cover artist, and that everybody cared about this, at a high level, and people really put their heart and soul into the writing and the arrangement and the production and the art and just the whole package of it. And that's what I really want people. I want people to be like, man, here he come again. And from a fan level, I think that's dope. Outside of that, I want all the rappers to be concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, here this nigga go. Like, oh shit, here he comes. Like that to me, that should be the energy. Oh shit, here he comes. And then I'm like, yeah, here I come. You know what I'm saying? Like, what up? So, I come from that ilk. Like every time I hear a nigga like, yo, I want to get on a song with you, I'll be like, you do? Like, why would you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole steez is like, you should not ever want to get on a song with me. Because I'm out for blood, nigga. Like, why would you ever want to do that? That's the ilk that I come from. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was dope. Like me and PA just did this album, and it was like it was like two pit bulls, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he wrote a verse, I'm like, fuck, yeah, because he's a supernova. So I'm like, fuck, and he was telling me, he was like, yo, I had a great time working on this record because it's not often that you write with niggas that's so, with it like that. I'm like, likewise, but I because that steel sharpens steel. So I'm still with that. I'm still with that MC shit. So I want the MCs to feel concerned. I want the fans to feel. I want them to see a movie. So that's really the mix there.
And that's a great way to end this interview.
Yeah.
MidaZ the Beast, everyone. Thank you for taking the time, and that right there, that should get you, if you're not a fan of MidaZ the Beast, to go check his music out.
Yeah, check that shit. We out here. 84 drop on Friday. The first single is out. Elder Barge is out. Whole different little vibe to it. And but we got some sneaky fly shit on 84, just like we had I don't think nobody that heard none of my previous projects was expecting 87 at all, like, because it doesn't sound like none of those projects. So, 84 is in the same vein, and then we flipping the whole shit upside down with Devil's Playground, because it's a whole different energy. So, just keep we just keep coming on.
Dope. Once again, give you a shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to my brother Sharp. Happy birthday, kid. When you back in town, we're gonna get fogged up and go get it in. Shout out I Make Mad Beats, Zarism, shout out Deli, shout out Gift Revolver, shout out Planet Asia, shout out Killer Army, shout out my brother Shinobi Stalin and my brother Junior Ali and those guys, and then shout out a special shout out to my big bro Ono, who just announced his new album today, and
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Real excited for Ono putting out some new work. So I'll end my shout outs with a big fat shout out to Ono.
Yeah, Ono, he's a genius with the electronics, man. I remember listening to interviews years ago about him, man. Ridiculous.
It's really like that. It's really like he is a genius.
Yeah.
He's different.
Mm-hmm.
He's different. So yeah. When Ono decided to come back out, it's one of them things when it's like, oh shit. Ono about to drop? Like, yeah. So he announced the project today, so I'm real excited for what O's going to do. So want to make sure I shout out Ono. I talked to him.
Dope. On behalf of our whole HHDG media crew, I'm gonna say peace.
My man, one love.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.